in my life is all I'm hoping for. If you could be mine, yeah, now forevermore. I won't talk my mind and say how I feel inside, but I fear you won't feel the same for me. Oh, if she loves me, hallelujah. She says she loves me, hallelujah. Oh, when she loves me, hallelujah. If she says she loves me, hallelujah.
I see the way he looks at me. I know the things he does for me. What if I could read your mind? I wonder if I'd be inside if you could be mine. I feel like I've been drinking wine.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
It is time for the trends in the papers on 98.3 Mainland FM. It's time for us to look through the major stories trending on the front pages of our dailies. Yes, the Morning Express continues. Time check right now is 7:40 a.m. We'll look through the papers from now till 8:30, and then we take a break. And by 8:40, we're back for Milan Focus, where we pick two or more major stories off the front pages of our dailies and let's see if we can put some spotlight on it and open the phone line for you, our dear listener, to share your thoughts and your contribution as regards the focal points for the day. My name still remains Omobola Sandra. I will not be doing this alone. Fuad Sahid will be joining in any moment from now via the phone line to give analysis to the stories that we're going to be treating this morning. We have our papers here with us: The Punch, The Guardian, and Vanguard, in no particular order, of course, and we will be looking through what we have on the front pages of these papers. Whilst we wait to connect with Fuad, there's a lot that is happening at this time now in this country, and we can only hope that things will get better. And that's why here at Milan FM, we ensure that the conversation continues, to ensure that we bring some spotlight to the hot topics, to ensure that someone somewhere in authority will be able to hear, listen, and make a decision that will make life better for the average Nigerian. That is our hope, and that is our mission. All right, in the spirit of nationality, Nigeria will be going against Angola today by 6 p.m. Nigerian time. It's going to be an interesting run. I'm not very good with football pundits, but then there's just a lot to look forward to. I just hope that one way or the other something would make Nigerians smile this evening. I just really hope so. There's a lot that is on the table at this time. It is the quarterfinals. Is a major decider. So we wish our boys all the best. We wish the Super Eagles all the best, and we hope that they can continue in the winning streak that they have found themselves in the AFCON 2023. Let's move on now to the stories trending on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Good morning, Fuad.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, all right, that's amazing. All right, let's get into it. Fuad, I know you one way or the other you dabble into football. I don't know if it's in and out. I really can't measure your football passion, but then are you excited about today? Are you hoping? Are you hopeful?
Yes, I'm excited, and I think I'm confident that we're going to have a good one over Angola this evening. I think my prediction, I like to make predictions, but people who know, they know that I don't get it wrong when I predict.
Okay.
So
okay.
I know people like those who would disagree, but it's not a problem. But I think I'll do 3-1, Nigeria 3, Angola 1.
Well, you said it. We'll see how it will turn out. I'm writing it down, and I'm going to take it very personal. If that is not the case, you are owing everybody lunch. Anyways, let's move on now to the front page of the Punch newspaper. We have here abductions. 15 states enlist 50,000 vigilantes against kidnappers. Sokoto is training 2,000 men. Delta has recruited 2,400 people. Ogun State has recruited about 16,500, and this coming from the aides of the governors of these states. Abductors are threatening to kill Ekiti school children, and they have reduced the ransom to 15 million naira. That's a serious issue, because initially the ransom amount was 100 million naira, and when all the community, they were able to come, they came together, put money together. How much were they able to gather? 450,000 naira. That was what they were able to gather. Very, very a far cry from the 100 million that was requested. And now the abductors are threatening to kill the school children if they're unable to. Now they've reduced it to 15 million. So before we even go into the fact that states, governors are, it's almost like they're helpless and they have to now go all out. They're going now, to recruit vigilantes to help out with the security situation in their country. Are we straying away from the state police conversation? Is there nothing the state governors can do? And the fact that abductors are now threatening to kill these poor children. What do you think the governor of Ekiti State, the Southwest governors, or Nigeria Governors Forum at this point now come together to ensure that these kids get out alive?
Okay, Sandra, before we talk about getting these kids out alive, there's also another very sad development. We're still grappling with this one, and just all through the night we got updates that in Kwara State, Sandra, Ekiti State shares borders with Kwara State.
Yes.
And in a local government called Ekiti local government in Kwara State, in a town called Koro, it starts to announce again, like I said, the update came just later in the night.
Yeah.
That the traditional ruler of that town, that's the local of Koro Kingdom in the local government of Kwara State, has been killed by golden bandits, golden kidnappers, and they've abducted his wife and 2 other persons from his palace. And that is the story again of Nigeria. Now, like I said, that's an update. And this is the king, traditional ruler, is actually a former general, a retired general. So he's actually been killed, and his wife has been abducted, and 2 other persons from his palace. The Kwara government has confirmed that particular report and have issued statements. And of course, as usual, the police have also issued statements, of course, saying that they're going to go after the kidnappers who have done this. Now, on the issue of the our children who are still in the kidnappers in the state, like you pointed out, the kidnappers have now reduced the ransom to 15 million naira. The entire community was able to raise 450,000 naira. You will understand that's a very, these are communities that just live by themselves. They are not, it's not really an urban area where you expect them to be able to raise that kind of money. The problem now is Sandra. It means that these kidnappers are still communicating. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because for this information to be coming out, it means that they have their network of communication. We don't know whether they are making phone calls or whatever. It means that they are still able to get their information out. The last time, I think yesterday, the information was that they were actually beating and harassing these children and then making their parents listen to the cry of their children to force them to pay the ransom. Now they are threatening to kill these children. It's unfortunate. We said it several times, Sandra, when kidnapping incidents like this happen, it's always between were they released or they were rescued. If they were released, it means ransom was paid. If they were rescued, it means the security operatives rescued them. I just want to appeal to this because again, I don't know how they're going to get them out. Of course, we heard the police saying, meanwhile, Jobi was on TV yesterday condemning issue of crowdfunding, and that's the police PRO. Condemning crowdfunding, condemning ransom payments, condemning all of those things, and what he was saying, some of them will be delusional to me, but again, maybe when we get to that part of the report, we'll talk about it. that look, it is all this ransom thing, this crowdfunding that is encouraging the kidnappers, and I'm like,
so what's the
what do you
alternative?
expect Nigerians to do?
What's the alternative to
What's the alternative? If the security operatives have done their job and there was no report of kidnapping, would anybody be doing crowdfunding or paying ransom? You understand what I'm saying now? That people don't really report to the police, or because the kidnappers will threaten them, and so they just go ahead to look for money and pay ransom, and that's what is encouraged. And can the first PRO just allow Nigerians, have their time in solidarity with themselves? Why they tell us? I was hoping that WHYDJB will be more on TV yesterday, telling us what the police is doing to rescue this kidnapping and ensure that we meet the carnage of kidnapping in the bud. Rather than, if they keep coming up with this narrative, that was the same thing people like Pantami were saying when they were in government, until we now join people to raise money to free kidnappers in Abuja.
But yesterday, you and I were also looking through the statement of Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, to the President, his response to the updates as regards kidnappings and whatnot, that people are blowing things out of proportion and all of that. But even if people are actually blowing things out of proportion, for at this time where people are apprehensive, there's anxiety out there, people are there's just this fright out there, and people are trying to ensure that, what am I supposed to do, what am I not supposed to do, what are we supposed to expect from the Nigerian police force now? No, not the government now, the security agencies. What should we expect from them? Because now you mentioned that, that's not what we're supposed to be hearing from the first PPRO. So if that's not what should they be giving out now? Should they be sharing intelligence? Should they be sharing tactics? What should they be doing? What should they be telling the public at this time now? What does the public want from the security agencies?
As a first player, I understand that you would want to douse tension and at least assure Nigerians that the police is on top of the situation. As a public relations officer, he has to do that. It's one of his jobs to do that. And I think that going forward, what we should be hearing from him is exactly what the police is doing. The kinds of arrests they are making, how they are making some progress. Some of this information may not be too good to begin to throw them out until success is achieved.
Okay.
To make the arrest of these kidnappers and all of that. But I'm thinking that, look, you don't blame victims. That's what we call double jeopardy. Sandra. You don't understand what I'm saying. Because in this issue of kidnapping now, Nigerians are the victims. And then the people that are supposed to protect Nigerians, instead of them telling Nigerians what they are doing to protect us, they are even making us the problem. And it's like, because these people are paying them, that's why these guys are emboldened. Hey! You guys are failing your ability to protect Nigerians, and what's the alternative like you have asked, Sandra? If you understand what I'm saying. So, as a police PR, I thought that, look, basically what needs to do is to show more solidarity with the Nigerian people. Look, at some point, even begin to apologize to Nigerians for failing in their job to protect them adequately. And then, of course, speaking to the reality of what they are doing now to get these guys arrested, tame the monster of kidnapping across the country, and then, of course, let Nigerians safe in their own. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, Sandra.
Yes.
That's classic public relations. Even in a year, 1 year, 2 public relations players to understand that this is how it's done. But that's on the police. A lot that will still be said. Because again, we need to ask ourselves, what is even the capacity of the police to do their job? In terms of their numbers, in terms of technical know-how, in terms of technology, in terms of funding, in terms of intelligence gathering. We need to review the capacity of the Nigerian police to do the job and ask ourselves if truly they can even do the job. Because it's one thing to expect them to do the job, it's another thing to know whether they have the capacity to do the job. And that's why you can see that governors are not even waiting for the police again. The governor of Zamfara State is always in camouflage now. The guy is always dressed in camouflage because he understands that, look, there's nothing he can do in Zamfara until he's able to assure the people of their safety. You understand? Because back to back, Zamfara has had governors who failed woefully to secure the people of Zamfara from bandits and all of these guys. So it is what it is. And if anybody at this time, Sandra, is now saying Nigerians or even journalists are blowing these issues out of proportion, it is completely insensitive, it is completely irresponsible and unbelievable. No, look, we are still grappling with the killing of two traditional rulers in the state. And another one has happened in Kwara State. And then somebody will now sit somewhere because he is in government and he wants to sound politically correct or he wants to defend the government, and we say people are blowing this out of proportion. So at what point should Nigerians now start to speak out? At what point do we have to get to that same person? And I'm talking about Mr. Bayo Onanuga now. I'm sorry that I have to go personal. Because, look, that's what we are even saying. When you are in government and you need to make a statement to defend your government or do your job as an advisor or a spokesperson, at least in the minimum, you are supposed to read the room. You are supposed to feel the pulse of the people. And sometimes when there's nothing to say, it is even more honorable to just keep quiet than making the people feel more dejected and more debased about what you're saying. And I read the entire statement of Mr. Bayo Onanuga. It's a tweet. I think it's still available on his page because he pinned it. And it started by first attacking the media. It started by attacking the media, condemning newspaper reports that are giving out the numbers of persons that have been killed and kidnapped across the country, and that look, these papers were just being sensational about those figures, and what they were trying to do was to sell paper. Imagine, Sandra, that the report of the paper about the numbers of Nigerians that have been killed in the last few months were just a paper making an attempt to sensationalize those stories so that they can sell their papers. Because he knows as a journalist that is what newspapers do. I think that is not what newspapers do. And it beats some of us who know Mr. Bayo Onanuga very well. When he was in the news magazine during the military era, these were guys who stood their ground and did real serious journalism to fight the military out of government. And that's why some of us are shocked that now that they are in government, they are saying something completely different.
Yeah, but
and then yes, I'm with you.
It's intriguing to have this, this kind of statement from Mr. Bayo Onanuga, especially looking at how, if we're looking at this report now, I'm looking at almost about 10 different governors in different parts of the country are setting up, security outfits in their states. So even if the people are supposedly, in quotes now, exaggerating, are we saying now that even the governors are exaggerating as well? Because what we have in this report now is that Kano is training about 2,500 people. Governor Mufwang in Plateau State is boosting the strength of the Operation Rainbow that was created during the Joshua Dariye. That's the governor before Simon Lalong. Yes, that's Joshua Dariye. We created the outfit, after complaints from the people as regards security and all of that. But of course, during Simon Lalong's tenure, the security outfit was relegated. But now Mufwang is bringing that back. Sokoto is also training about 2,000 people in a newly established community guard corps. We also have Anambra State, also has Anambra Vigilante Services. We're also looking at Ogun State as well. It's training about 16,500 people, in the Vigilante Service of Nigeria and So Safe Corps. We're also looking at Ebonyi State, is looking at about 3,000 people. Gombe is also unveiling. Gombe also unveiled, a security outfit some 2-3 years or so ago. Governor Godwin Obaseki in Edo State is also, reaccrediting all operatives of the State Security Vigilante Network. The story goes on and on. Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State has launched 2,645 member State Community Protection Guards. All right. And so if we have all of these governors going the extra mile to ensure that they have one thing or the other to ensure that their community is safe, shouldn't this be enough to speak something or to speak volume to the federal government as regards the state of insecurity in the country?
Sandra, a fantastic one reading out what the governors are trying to do. Again, because again, it is what it is. A lot of these states are not safe. You have people in different states calling out to their governors to help them out. Farmers are not able to go to their farms. People are being abducted on daily basis. And the reality is that you can't be a governor and just sit back. A responsible governor, really, a performing governor, and sit back and look all of these things happen in your state. The PDP governors are now saying that, look, the solution is state policing. This is the time to really activate the state policing structure. And whether we like it or not, we can't continue to be delusional about these things or continue to deceive ourselves statement. It's just what it is. And that's why Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi struggled yesterday until it was a clear struggle. When you struggle, you know it was a clear struggle for him, to begin to justify and defend what is going on. And so when we say that, look, while we are trying to solve this problem, while we are looking at short-term solutions, looking at what the government is doing, we are saying that, look, the information managers of the government should show more solidarity and empathy to the people than wanting to scandalize and trivialize serious matters of state, like insecurity in Nigeria. And that's why I'm sorry, I find it completely condemnable. The statement of Mr. Bayo Ononuga on this particular one. You know, Sandra, when we were reading the statement yesterday, he went on and on again giving statistics of some countries in the world that have the worst security situation in the country.
Not specifically.
He was talking about South Africa, he was talking about killings in the UK, killing in other parts of the world. And that, look, he now started to rule out the figures of Nigeria, that our figures are not even up to that one.
So we're comparing pain now.
Sorry?
No, I'm with you, Fuad. Please go on.
I would have asked Mr. Bayo Ononuga, okay, so we should wait till when our figures are as bad as that of South Africa before we speak out. Is that what he's saying? That, okay, now that our figures are not as bad as those of South Africa and these other countries listed, you understand? And that the fact that we are not even one of the top 10, countries in the world with worst cases of kidnapping. So what we are supposed to do is to keep quiet while Nigerians are dying, and then wait till when we are one of the top 10 countries with prevalence of kidnapping before we start to talk. And my dear Sandra, I'm sorry, I'm being very modest with my choice of words this morning. If this is the thinking pattern, I keep saying that thing. If this is the thinking pattern of people at the corridors of power, Mr. Bayo Ononuga is the special advisor to the president on media and information. So it means that he has the ears and attention of the president. So if this is the way he's thinking, if this is his thinking pattern about the cause of kidnapping and killing across the country, then we're in trouble. Because to him, there's nothing to worry about.
All right.
To him, we are going out of proportion. To him, there's no problem yet. To him.
Thank you very much. The story is on pages 2 and 43 of the Punch newspaper. I think we've spent quite a lot on that particular story. But of course, I mean, it's something that we need to keep talking about because something definitely needs to be done. You are listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers. There's 1 minute past 8. We're looking through major stories on the front pages of our dailies. Moving on very fast now, very quickly. By-elections. Inspector General warns troublemakers, restricts movement in 26 states. So tomorrow, being the 3rd of February, by-elections will be holding in about 26 states of the Federation, different parts of the state. In Lagos, which Lagos is one of, we're having a by-election being held at Surulere 1 constituency due to the fact that the occupant of that post was Femi Gbajabiamila until he was appointed as chief of staff to the president. So there's going to be an election happening this Saturday. Of course, Mainland FM will be on ground to take all of the scoop and will give all of the report on Political Roundtable on Sunday by 6 p.m. The story is on page 43 of the Punch newspaper. We also have here on the front page of the Punch, airfares to UK, US, others jump by 55%. You see, anybody that I hear that is traveling at this time now, I feel like the person is doing ritual. I have nothing to say as regards that. I know there was one time people were saying, oh, that why don't you go through Benin Republic, go into Benin Republic.
You like go through Togo.
Through Togo, so that it is cheaper there. But I mean, Fuad, it's a serious issue that we have found ourselves now. The depreciation of the Naira against the US dollar by about 55% has caused a depreciation in airfares or an appreciation, or I really don't know what to use now as regards international routes in Nigeria. Let's not forget that as we're speaking now, the Naira is about 1,500 or so, which is 900 Naira to dollar on the official window, of course. But barely 24 hours after the movement of the official exchange rate, international airfares operating in Nigeria moved the exchange rate for pricing of their tickets from 900 to $1 to 1,421 Naira to $1. So we have now the fact that ticket prices on Lagos, London, Lagos, Lagos, New York, Lagos, Lagos, Johannesburg, Lagos, among other top destinations, has increased in a very serious way. For instance, an air ticket that used to cost about $1,000 is now 1.5 million. For what? To travel
And
to the
for
country.
people who have the money to travel, this is what they would have to face. Unfortunately, there are people who have the means to travel. Not for maybe luxury or because they just want to go out there for holidays or parties and what have you. They have serious business reasons, serious reasons to want to, make these journeys. It's a very tough one. I think it was our MD that shared something on the status yesterday that to fly business class to London, I think they will come to get about 10 million naira. So it is what it is. Again, the reality of Nigeria at this time as a result of this collapsing value of the naira against the dollar. There was a little gain yesterday. I think between yesterday and today, the naira appreciated slightly. There was this directive from the CBN to deposit money banks to ensure that they push out.
How many kobo?
Sorry?
By how many kobo?
I think at the parallel market it dropped around 1,450 or so. It was already crossing the 1,500 mark.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that there was a little.
No. Let's be grateful for the small things.
So we hope that Mr. Yemi Cardoso would do more about speculators, about ordering and racketeering going on, and let's see whether we can push it further downward, and then we'll see how we can consolidate on that.
Well, that's the story we have it's on page 36 of the Punch newspaper. Above the masthead of the Punch, we also have here Punch is celebrating their 50th anniversary with a week-long activities. Congratulations to the Punch.
Congratulations to them.
Yes, exactly. We also have here, just as Fuad has highlighted, Naira rebounds as banks offload excess dollars. That's on page 36 of the Punch newspaper. And finally, from the Punch, we also have here, federal government bars states from collecting mining royalties. And that's on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. So just very, very quickly, we have the federal government has warned states and local government to stay clear of the collection of royalties and taxes from licensed miners operating in their domains. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, gave the warning in Kaduna and said, miners and operators owe the federal government more than 2 trillion naira. So they're calling on them to pay the debt. That's interesting. Well, what?
All these warnings and warnings and warnings. When it comes to mining, to structure that sector and get it to function effectively for the good of the country. Mr. Dele Alake would have to do more than just giving out warnings, if you understand what I'm saying. For example, the illegal mining going on across the country. For example, gold mining that people have been reporting, illegal gold mining in Zamfara. I'm sure to solve that problem, it will be more than just giving out warnings. You understand what I'm saying? And the idea of saying government should not collect royalties, again, whether you like it or not, Sandra, we don't have a structured mining sector, solid minerals and mining sector. So it's all a chaotic situation where you have illegal miners, where you have bandits, and people have also said that, look, a lot of this illegal mining going on across the country could not have happened without the quote-unquote expert permission of some of the state governors. You understand what I'm saying? Because mining is not such a secret thing to do. The equipment you have to use, the way you have to go about it, it's not something that is done in secret. It's not such an easy thing to do. So the report is that, look, a lot of this mining that go on, states are still collecting royalties, and because again, mining and solid minerals are on the exclusive list standard, just like crude oil. And what it means is that it is supposed to be domiciled with the federal government. Now, a lot of the states will just keep quiet and say, well, let's see the domicile at the exclusive list with the federal government, or we keep have a way of doing what we want to do. And now people are saying that, look, mining is going on across the country, and that the reality that at the state level, a lot of our political leaders are culpable. They know what is going on. They make a lot of illegal money from it and all of that. So what I'm just saying on this particular one, again, to Mr. Alaji, who a lot of us think may not be able to function effectively in that ministry. But the way to see is that look, he needs to do more than just giving out warnings and talk to the real solutions when it comes to really getting the mining sector organized. He has a lot of work to do with because of some of the challenges that come with the mining sector in the country.
Thank you very much. Well, the minister is saying any state government or any local government that collects money in the name of royalty or mineral tax will have it deducted from their federal allocation. Well,
and that will be legal. We'll take them to court. You can't just deduct people's money. You think that's the thing we should say when people just make statements like this.
It's okay.
You just deduct it. So how would you now justify the deduction? And is that the solution?
How you even know?
And then how would you know what they even collected?
Exactly. That's my whole focus. The figure that we deducted. How will you know?
Instead of you to look at how to ensure that we have a proper structure, and the thing that we are avoiding to do, Sandra, we would eventually do. And what is that thing we are not telling ourselves that we must eventually do? It is a restructuring of the country. We restructure to the point where, whether we like it or not, the resources of it belong to the state. If you manage it, it's the federal system of government that we copy from the US. Is that the way they run it? The federating units are the ones that control their resources, and they contribute to the central court.
Nice.
Go and check the United States of America, for example. How many things are on their exclusive list compared to the ones we have here? So whether we like it or not, and coming home, whether we look on issue of insecurity, we are still talking about it. On issue of infrastructure, we are talking about it. On issue of resource control, we are talking about it. And that's why Nigerians are telling the president, whether we like it or not, this is the time for us to go into the proper restructuring of the country.
All right. Thank you very much, Said Fuad. That story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. This is still trends in the papers. It's 11 minutes past 8 and you are listening to Mainland Focus. Oh, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Apologies, I'm just announcing that.
Oh, really?
Sincerely apologize. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Please join the conversation as the show progresses. We'd appreciate that as well. Let's move on now to the Guardian newspaper. The major headline on the front page of the Guardian: agony of road users. Over 120 extortion points double travel time and travelers' pains in the southeast. I don't know why there's the focus on the southeast, because I mean it's a general thing, but let's see what the report has for us, and it's on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. So what we have is that road travel in the south has rarely been an epic joyride, but it just got worse. Multiple checkpoints by various security agencies and touts alike, sometimes at about 500-meter intervals, suggest a no thoroughfare to the eastern part of the country. While the need for security presence is understood by all, most harrowing is the attendant bellum that serves more extortion and harassment purposes than the protection of lives and property. So, let's look at the distance from Lagos to Aba in Abia State, which is about 464 kilometers and normally completed in 6 to 8 hours. While the road infrastructure has improved to anticipate a better sale for motorists, the traffic has become more chaotic, with a new travel time of about 12 to 16 hours. So the southern corridors are not new to security checkpoints, but they have been doubled lately, and the purpose of it now has been distorted one way or the other. So is it for protection? Is it to ensure? I mean, especially with this kidnapping situation that we have found ourselves now. But then when you have to pass through security checkpoints and you have to drop something and you have to prepare some funds down, and aside from that, it creates traffic, because by the time you get to security checkpoints, because they are attending to one particular vehicle, so the other vehicles have to wait in line, and then traffic builds up. So for what?
Well, there's nothing really new to this story. A lot of Nigerians face this almost on a daily basis. People who do interstate journeys. The Guardian newspaper decided to just focus on the southeast journeys from Lagos to different parts of the southeast, where, of course, because of the issue of insecurity, there's a call for more checkpoints, more patrol points, and all of that. And basically, what our security guys just do is use the opportunity to extort motorists and commuters, if you understand what I'm saying. So that in itself has to slow people down, because sometimes have people, because again, if you have a journey of like maybe 2-3 hours, and you have like maybe 40 points along that journey, and then you have to stand almost like 3, 4, 5 days every time to pay people, come down and negotiate your way through. You understand why the travel time is longer for people who make these journeys. Because the problem is that you can't come now and say, oh, we don't want these checkpoints again, because of the prevalence of insecurity in different parts of the country, and particularly the southeastern part of the country. But again, these things are not subjected to abuse by security operatives who take advantage of this to export motoring. They are just like tax collectors. They just do take time and collect money from people. And sometimes you find these arguments. You have drivers argue with them sometimes. But again, this for the police authorities and security operatives to look at how to ensure that these checkpoint patrols don't become means of extorting ordinary Nigerians who are just doing their own thing.
Well, thank you very much. There's just a lot to take away from that particular story, but you can get all of the details on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. I mean, there's a quote here I just want to quickly read out. If you look back, you'll agree that we did not record many incidents of kidnapping and other violent crimes. That is because these men of the underworld knew that there was a superior power, and the best thing for them was to lie low. We're gradually recovering from what used to be a bad situation to the era where you could say you can confidently move around. I understand the negative attitude of those officials who have turned the assignment into a money-making venture, but that's not why they were sent to these roads. Anyhow, let us not throw away the gains because of certain bad elements in the system. Make what you may of that particular quote. The story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, still on the front page of the Guardian. OAU teaching hospitals sacks 1,500 workers just months after recruitment and without pay. That's interesting. Well, that's on page 20. Without pay. Yeah, that's what we have here. Just months after they were recruited. The story is on page 27. So just very quickly, let's get some context to that. So no fewer than 1,500 workers that were laid off by the management of the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ilé-Ifẹ̀, protested against their disengagement. They were employed in 2022. But following discovery by the federal government that the management and some workers were allegedly involved in job racketeering, the workers were laid off through a circular issued on Wednesday. So the workers, the affected workers besieged hospital gates chanting songs, and they were, seriously dissatisfied. But if there is, the allegation of job racketeering, what do you think of this?
So are there no processes to get in and get employed?
I mean, investigation and all of that.
And then to have these numbers of persons sacked, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a problem here for me, because when there's even job racketeering, it shouldn't be this huge number. If it's maybe 1, 2, or 3, maybe like a maximum 10, but you have like 1,000 persons who are now sacked because of job racketeering. Then I think it has to be looked into. I think an investigation has to be done on this, really, because it's a bit surprising to me that you can have these numbers of persons get employed into an institution like that through the legal means. If you understand what I'm saying, Sandra. Some of these things one has to be a bit careful to just jump into the story without really knowing what has happened. So I think it's a story that I don't really want to go too into until we have a lot of clarity on as to what really happened.
All right. Well, the story is on page 27. Moving on now, we also have here, federal government targets 77% increase in IGR to fund projects and others. I'm more concerned with how they intend to increase this IGR. Well, the federal government said it's working towards achieving a 77% increase in internally generated revenue to boost the economy and fund critical infrastructure across the nation. Do you think it's going to be difficult for us to achieve this, a 77% increase? And aside, when we now achieve this, do you think we can trust the government to actually do what they said they want to do, which is to boost the
in the revenue generation conversation of government? What you hear is that we generate this money, we put into critical infrastructure. The only thing we put it into infrastructure, But you ask yourself from 1999 till date, all the monies we've been generating, have we been able to really fix our critical infrastructure? Where is power? Where are the roads? Where are the hospitals? Where are the schools that we have been able to do with all of the revenues we've generated in the past? So the same narrative, the same conversation, the same rhetoric, to justify, a serious quest to generate revenue. Although I don't know how the government intends to achieve 77% revenue drive. You understand? Most likely taxes, which again is going to bring serious burden on poor Nigerians. But like we have always talked about, like we have always said on this show, Sandra, to be about revenue or about expenditure, when the government now makes all of this money, can we trust them to deploy them to fix the so-called critical infrastructure they are talking about? That trust that we're not going to begin to see reckless spending in our budgets and procurement. You understand what I'm saying? Where we are now renovating vehicles, renovating buildings, buying vehicles, buying SUVs, buying computers, and spending recklessly after we paid all the money. Can we trust the government to do away from those reckless spending and really fix the infrastructure they are talking about? I don't know, really, because there's that trust deficit from what we have seen consistently in the past, and that we are still seeing.
We are still seeing. Well, the story is on page 7. You can get more details as regards how they intend to do that. There's been some sort of cry or counsel to the NNPCL as regards taking advantage of the oil sector to shore up revenue for the nation. Stories on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's keep moving now. Still on the front page of the Guardian, Nigerians are now selling relatives as low as 30,000 naira to traffickers. I come again.
They're selling what?
They're selling their relatives.
That's a crime. That can't be justified, but yeah.
For as low as 30,000 naira, and that's coming from Co-Create Humanitarian Aid. Lamented the plight of Nigerians trafficked to Italy and other parts of the world. And what we have now is that families are giving out their brood for as low as 30,000 naira, which is equivalent to about $20 at this time now. And this is quite unfortunate. Some find help, some do not, but they're selling people for 30,000 naira.
It's a crime. We can't.
Yes, it's a crime.
Yeah, people talk about hardship in the land and
exactly. They want to justify it with poverty and hardship.
No, nothing can justify these kinds of acts. There's even narcotic trafficking, the agency against trafficking, and even internationally too. Human trafficking is such a serious offense. That's why the former deputy senate president is in jail and his wife as we speak. You understand what I'm saying? Anything human trafficking, any attempt to, it can't even be justified because of a very serious crime and community condemnable.
Well, the Lagos Commissioner has pledged support. I mean, it's a serious issue. There are a lot of victims of traffic in human beings out there. But, I mean, for family members to be selling off their family, their relatives for as low as 30,000 naira.
So what would 30,000 now do?
You can't even buy a bag of rice. You can't even buy a bag of rice. 30,000 naira.
Whoever does that is a rich person, Yes, we can speak to the fact that there's serious poverty in the land, there's hardship, and in our conversations on the daily basis, we keep talking about the need for the government to address multidimensional poverty in Nigeria. But that still does not justify people, selling people and getting into human trafficking.
The story is on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. Also, we have here on the front page of the Guardian, 40 days after, worries over delay in swearing in of 11 Supreme Court justices. Sorry for that. And that story is on page 7. Just very quickly, 40 days after 11 justices were screened and confirmed by the Senate following their nomination for promotion to the Supreme Court, the justices are yet to be sworn in. And their nomination was made to avoid violating the provision of the Constitution that stipulates 21 justices for the Apex Court. And before the nomination and subsequent clearance, we had only 11 justices at the Supreme Court, which is a figure that is far below the statutory requirement by the Constitution. What do you think about why what's the delay 40 days after? What exactly is happening?
It's strange because again, after confirmation, screening should have been taking this long, and I think justice.
No, they've been screened What?
Yeah, I said after screening.
Oh, okay.
Swearing should not be taking this long.
Exactly. Because
You
no
understand?
reason is given. It's just hanging in limbo. There's no reason.
I think Justice Ariwola has to explain why this is happening. Why you would screen, justices of the Supreme Court were nominated, screened and confirmed.
Yeah.
And then to now swear them in as that is having this kind of delay. I'm surprised. I just hope that again, it's not anything political. It's supposed to be something of an independent arm of government which is sorting itself out. And so I'm sure the MD, the NJC will have to look into this now that it's making the news. Because there's really no reason for it, Sandra. They've gone through the entire process. So this is the last thing to do to get them confirmed as Supreme Court justices, and it shouldn't be happening really.
Well, that's all from the Guardian newspaper. This is still Milan 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers. We're looking through major stories trending on the front pages of our dailies. Time check right now is 8:25 a.m. So we still have a few more minutes to go as we run through the major stories on the front page of Vanguard newspaper. And the major headline there, after Ekiti, more children kidnapped in Benue. And we have as riders, armed herders kill 15 in Agatu. Bandits demand cough syrup, rice, 290 million naira to release 7 hostages. Abducted Ekiti pupils school, parents, community launch crowdfunding for ransom. Police arrest 8 suspects, urge residents to stay calm. The story is on page 5. I'm a little bit exhausted.
We say that the papers are irresponsible. They just want to sell. That they are not sensational about this kind of thing. But that's what
did it happen or not? Did it happen or not?
You see, Sandra. In what he tweeted, Sandra, he actually still made a reference to another newspaper. That look, instead of the newspaper focusing on the problem, what they were doing was to actually focus on what the government was doing to solve the problem. What you call selective perception, selective attention. You understand? But like you have asked me now, these things that are reported in the papers, are they manufactured? Is it false goods? These are things that are happening to Nigerians on a daily basis. And that's why I said that instead of it about focusing on what the papers are doing, I would have thought that as a person or the advisor to the president on information, he's actually now talking about what the government is doing to solve the problem. But to now gaslight the press and then begin to make it look as if, how do you reduce this carnage going on in the country to the fact that papers are just being sensational to just sell their papers? It's unbelievable, and I'm sorry. That is even coming from someone like this about I'm sure.
The story
you are reading the trees now, you understand what we're saying.
I we read it together. What?
I was only going to vomit at some point, but I had to hold myself.
It's okay. But it is just rather unfortunate where we are now, and we can't even say, it's one part of the country, and so there should be focus or anything there. Now it's just all over, northwest, north central, southwest, south, everywhere. We are having conversations as regards kidnapping. Insecurity is a big challenge that we're having right now in this country, and we hope that our government actually do take this report seriously, because from all indications, from body language, I don't know if they're taking this report seriously. For someone to say that newspapers or media is sensationalizing the news, or it's propaganda or it's politically motivated, I really don't know. But please, there are people that are looking to the government to help to secure their lives. Still in that, light of that conversation, I have here on the front page of Vanguard, the PDP governors visited, Kilomofwang in Plateau State, and they are calling on the federal government to establish state police to fight insecurity. And that story is on page 4 of Vanguard newspaper. Establish state police to fight insecurity, PDP governors tell federal government. All right. Still on the front page of Vanguard, we have here, court jails actress 6 months for spraying and stepping on new Naira notes. And that story is on page 6.
The same people are still doing on a daily basis. Every day, people are doing it.
Everywhere. And it's all
over. So I'm just shocked that this media, I don't know. Because again, this is something that happens. Even with our political, everybody is doing.
Yes.
We see the news also. don't know. I think he's just very unlucky to be the scapegoat.
Yes, I think that's just it. I thank you very much. Rightly put. One Oluwadara Omosheni, an actress, has been sentenced by Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, convicted and sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for spraying and stepping on the new Naira notes at a social event in Lagos. This happened last year, February. Yeah.
I know that was when the new Naira note was reported.
That's very sad. Yeah.
I think she should just try finding a way to appeal that judgment. And always appeal.
Well, the story is on page 6. Now, above the masthead of Vanguard, we have why government should remove electricity subsidy. And that's coming from our power minister. I don't want to go into that. Why do you have anything to say?
Yeah, we have found his voice eventually.
It's come out.
And he's saying the same thing. That, because again, some of us are still questioning this idea of subsidy on electricity. And what the minister is now saying is that, look, the government should remove the subsidy from electricity and go into what is called cost-reflecting tariff. So you expect people to now pay more because the subsidy is not sustainable. So you ask yourself, what is even the government doing to help the poor? You want the poor to pay. You have removed subsidy on petrol. You say there's subsidy on electricity. The minister is saying that again they have to be removed. We need to ask ourselves if we want the poor to pay.
All right. Thank you very much, Fuad. The story is on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. And finally, from Vanguard, we have hardship. 7 months not enough to fix Nigeria. That's coming from federal government, and that is on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. They're saying we should give them time. Let's see if something can.
You don't have to fix Nigeria in 7 months, but can you get the country stable? At least stability.
All right.
If you have a patient Sandra as a surgeon, the first thing you want to try to do is to stabilize the patient before you now go into the procedure of curing. You understand what I'm saying? So what we are saying is that we understand that we can't fix 7 months, but can it actually be a bit stable? There's instability everywhere. That's what we are saying.
All right, so that's a wrap for trends in the papers for this morning. We'll take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back for Mainland Focus, where you, our dear listener, you get to share your thoughts and your contribution as regards 2 major focal points for the day. We'll be right back. This is Mainland 98.3 FM.
This is Mainland 9.